Good afternoon. Time to wrap it up for January the 5th, 2015. We came in today wanting to sell the E-mini. We started off wanting to sell the 45 to 50 area. We lowered that to 40 to 42 and then 44, 46, and we caught the top of it right here. We came in as sellers. We thought the market would retest the overnight session low and or take it out, and it did. The software did its work for you. A software-based sell. This was our idea. Software-based sell, software-based sell. Software-based sell, software-based sell. This is the first buy, and it really would be against 25. Gave you a scratch, perhaps make a little. Sell right here, gave you a scratch, perhaps make a little. And so on and so forth. So the idea to be short was what produced the money, and then how you chose to execute at our level or off the software was up to you. But if you get the direction of the market right, it's pretty hard to beat beat that call. I mean, it works all day long. My feeling now is that we're headed for 2000. So we had a really good day to start off the trading year for 2015, and we hope to bring it in and do it again tomorrow. Okay, looking at the F1 screen, which should be no surprise to you. And the Globex tonight are coming in the morning unless we get a big change in the news. Is this confirmed by our F2 screen? And our F2 screen is clearly a B pattern. My guess is right now, as long as we stay below this 2030, 2035 area, this market can trade lower. And right now we've got resistance in the 15 to 17 area. So both screens say find a place to get short. If the market were to close right now at 15, got this area right here, this 18, the spill from 21, so we'd be trying to sell 19s to 21s. Let them take it up a little bit higher, get stops in this area. And then our 24, 26. Got a high volume number right here. Right now, support is at 10, so buy number one would be 210, 2010 plus or minus 1, and then 5 for plus or minus 1. And again, I think that 96 area to 2000, maybe as high as 2003 is where best support lies. Okay, some news tomorrow. Factory orders are calling for that minus 0.4%, and then ISM services, which will get more attention at 58.5. At the end of the week, they're looking for 245 in non-farm jobs gain, and that would be a pretty healthy number. Which would be supportive if it does come in at that level. So everybody, the back of the mind is pretty well convinced that we're going to have great end-of-the-year job numbers, and that will be somewhat supportive. So maybe a quick rundown to get started with that and bring it back up in anticipation of a good number at the end of the week. Okay, higher low for the button note, higher high. That has us buyers for tomorrow. We're in Globex. Looking at the F2 screen, you can see that it is confirmed. So we are at resistance. So you go back and look at the charts, there's resistance at 26, 28.5, 29.5, 30.5, and 128 even. So this 26 to really the buck area is pretty stout resistance. So selling failure to take out 26 to the buck, I think, is probably the easiest trade to call, and we could get some bounce back in the E-mini that would bring that about or not. But I think the first trade, like this morning, was to find a place to get long. And play it from there. Nancy, you take care. At some point, the market will want to retest this breakout from the 12 to 16 levels. So right now we're at 25.5, so we'll put our first buy at 17 to 21. If the E-mini spills late this afternoon, it's going to take 25s to get in. And then 9 to 13 for buy 2. Factory orders will be, and ISM services come out at the same time. The focus will be ISM services followed by factory orders. But these markets move quickly. They can become one-sided when the sentiment changes, and the sentiment in the financials is definitely bullish right now. And that can be from a financial surprises coming, could be from Greece, sovereign debt issues come back up again, could be just economic weakness around the globe. Don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, these guys know how to play the fundamentals, and they play them well. Okay, the knob spread expanded once again and is getting stronger. The spreaders are anticipating lower interest rates, again, for the reasons that we just mentioned. You can see that we haven't been above 147. We're on highs right now. So if the market was to close right now, we'd be selling failure to take out 8 to 12. Don't really like the short side of the market, but as far as Globex goes, we can play it. Right down here, the high volume numbers at 25, so buying 21 to 25 will be buy 1. And again, because of the strength in the knob spread is why we're doing that. Then 17 to 13 would put us down into these single prints for buy 2. The strength in the knob spread, somebody knows something that we don't know, and somebody always knows. And again, that's the beauty of the profile. We really don't have to know who, we don't have to know why. We can see that they're buying or selling, and then eventually when the story comes out, we know why. Somebody always knows. Chicago front runs, New York buys inside information. And it's a hell of a lot easier if you know the answer to the question to bet it up than if you don't. And New York pays very, very handsomely for that privilege of the right of knowing the inside information. Okay, on gold, we're right now, you can see that we've rejected prices above 10, so leaning against resistance right now. If the market were to close right here, selling failure to take out 5 to 7. And in the second trade, it'd be 10 to 12 for Globex. On the buy side, we broke it out at 98. We're at 1205, so 1200 plus or minus 1. Buy 1. And buy 2, 95 to 97. The sell at 5 to 7 is pretty aggressive, as you can imagine. But it is where resistance is, and if we can't get through it, we can take a short to see if we can bust the buck. Okay, crude oil, below 50 bucks today, and that was our trading target. Okay, for want of a better price, everybody's talking about $40 now. So, the deep Gulf production, from best you can guess, and it's hard to say, but most of your majors will not go drill or will not go after prospects that don't offer $40 to $50 crude. They got break-even costs and that. It's at the top end of the range, but of course they've got some reserves that are producing still 30, 40, 50 years. And that gives them a nice average price. So at some point, the cost of production does come into play. Any hint out of Saudi Arabia that they might cut back production? Any hint out of Russia or anybody else that they're cutting back production? Could make this market explode. they sank a tanker, a Greek tanker, at in Libya. That didn't affect the price of oil either. So there's enough oil out there that nobody's worried about the loss of Iraq or Iranian crude. And the longer ISIS tries to take over Iraq, the harder they're going to find it to be because of the fractious tribal rule that you have in that part of the world. And you can bring coalitions together for small amounts of time to unite against a common foe, but then it falls back into bigger bickering and, you know, trying to get more for yourself than the other guy. It's the way of that part of the world. So we're pointed lower, and again, obviously the next point will be 49, 49 and a quarter. We could wake up to that in the morning, and then buy two will be 48.50, 48 and a quarter. I don't know where the low is. Nobody else does. Like, for want of a better trading target, we're going to use 40 now. Have to think about it for a couple of days. We've got volume against 50-50. So 50 and a quarter, 50-50, sell one. Obviously 50 could be a level that's tough to get through. And then 51 plus or minus. $49.90, $47.11, and we'll, Reg, appreciate that. We've already gotten stops below the $49.90. Funny how those guys do that, isn't it? So maybe 47, 47 and a quarter is our first target. Appreciate it, Reg. Now, if you're a dictator in tenuous straits, which all dictators are, overseas, $1 worth of cash flow is $1 worth of cash flow. And you really don't use, I mean, you stole the oil, you didn't develop it, doesn't make any difference to you. So they will lift and pump as much crude oil as they can. And if they need more cash flow, they'll try to sell more on the open market. And that's what makes the bottom fall out of these markets. And you just can't forget that. Okay, 120. That's obvious resistance right here. We have a London high at 85. So our 75 area, 85, sell one. 120 plus or minus, sell two. On the buy side, bottom of value is 19. We're at 53. So 20 to 30 will be buy one. Give it a little bit of room to set up. And I still like them at 1900. Come down here pretty fast. I think it's a price level that could bounce us. And we talked about that this morning, and I haven't changed my mind on that. Hey, some good calls today, even if I do say so myself. Had a chance to make some really, really good money. That's it for January the 5th, 2015. You all have a great evening. It's still cold here. They say we might get up into the upper 20s. We snap cold again into the teens on Wednesday. I understand it's much colder north of us. I'm not saying better you than me, but we're having ourselves a pretty good winter down here, and it looks to shape up to be more of the same. I'm out of here. Y'all have a great evening. See you bright and early in the morning.